Well, I'm so happy and pleased with that satisfying end finale fight because I'm not going to mention any other titles. I'm going to be nice, but there's a lot of other martial arts action movies out there that they have great action throughout the whole movie, but they always kind of puss out with the end finale fight, and there's no big satisfying end finale one-on-one duel
Moment,
fight
yeah.
at the end. And it's just you're enjoying the whole movie, but at the end you kind of get a little bit of, I'm gonna be honest here, a little bit of martial arts blue balls. Okay? But not with affinity. Not with affinity.
Marco, infinity, affinity, infinity, incredible. I mean, this thing plays like a multi-genre labor of love. And not only that, you play like a multi-genre labor of love and labor of love because, let's see, you're starring, you're co-writing, you're co-producing, you're the action director.
Yeah.
Tell me how this all started. Did you come up with the idea? How did this happen?
Wow, this is a long story. I'll try to make it short,
We got
but
a
this
half
happens.
hour.
This happens way back when I did the movie. I don't know if you guys remember this movie named Invincible with Johnny Strong. Okay, so that was a two-picture deal with an investor, and I said I was not a big fan of making that movie, to be honest. But the hook for me was I make this movie if then we do my movie Affinity. Affinity is a script that I've been developing for years. And it was like you said, my love letter of the genre, about the movies that I like Taken, of Ian
Yeah.
Neeson, the love, the finding yourself, and then the big question about with all this technology and with all these things that we're going into this craziness that we're creating humans in a way, or at the same time with the AI and robots, it's like literally there's something that they haven't figured out, that is how you cannot replicate affinity between two human beings. And I had this idea of how we can put this into a cool story, and that's how we start working on the script. And I work with different writers, and I have a very clear vision also because of what I've learned from Ernesto Diaz as a director, and something that I always wanted to show in this movie, and to tell the story that everything happens from Bruno's point of view. In the whole movie, everything that the audience knows is exactly what Bruno is not. Like, the audience is not going to know something ahead of Bruno. If Bruno is not connected in that moment with something, the audience is not going to see it either. So the audience is discovering the movie or the story through the Bruno's eyes. And that was a big challenge, to keep that and be consistent with that until the end of the movie. So for me, that was my exercise with this movie, like how I can make this movie where the audience is in the journey with him, not
Yes.
as an observant. They're with him, immersed in this journey. So that was and I wanted to make this movie a long time ago, and then the movie happened, but then the movie failed. There was problems with production with Invincible, and then I lost connection with that investor, and then years later, John Wick happened, and then this guy said, "Okay, let's make the movie,"
Nice.
and yeah, and then that's how it happened. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, I'll tell you, one other thing I really loved about it, I'm a science fiction writer too. I've done novels and other things. So I was really into that. But I also love the idea that you made it totally cinematic in that not only is it beautiful to look at and has a lot of imagination, but throughout, as a writer, I'm going, is he dreaming this? Is it this part is a dream, or maybe the end is a dream? You can take the whole thing
Hmm.
as factual, but you could also
yeah,
Hmm.
take it as a
exactly,
great love story. In other words,
yeah,
and the love story that you create during these crisis moments in your life. I mean, it's very meaty. And speaking of meaty, it also is literally action packed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
thank
given
you.
that that's what you did with the story, what was your idea? How did you approach the action? As an action director, what was your motivation and approach to that?
Yeah, for me, it was following exactly the same of what I just told you about trying to be on him all the time so the audience can perceive this from his eyes, right? And that's actually the first scene of the movie. I don't know if you remember that
Oh,
is
yeah.
is a first person shot with the camera. Actually, that was me holding the camera
Oh
on
wow.
on that scene.
Yeah.
Nicolo is a great DP, man, and I'm so happy to be able to meet him thanks to Brandon. Nicolo is an old friend of Brandon, and Brandon told me, hey, you gotta meet this guy, whatever, and we connect right away. And so actually that scene, I wanted to show the spirit of this movie, that we're gonna live this movie from him. So that's why in that scene I wanted to make it like a first person and do all the choreography and all that. And then of course a little step back to show the action, but always to have that feeling of like surprise, and the people is living these fights from him,
Mm-hmm.
not so
Yeah.
much as a distant that I'm watching a fight. No, so that makes me go into with the camera into the fight and try to do some long shots to create that sense of realism, and try to be very careful with the acrobatics or with the complex moves, because I do want to people take away of the aggressiveness and of the realism of this guy trying to go after this girl. It's not about the flip, it's about getting that objective.
Yeah.
So it needs to be brutal, visceral, like vicious and effective.
That was the other thing I loved because I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it to you directly, but I love fights in character, and your character is a soldier, a trained soldier with PTSD. So I know what his training was like. So it doesn't make sense that he'd suddenly start doing kung fu. He would do military fighting,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
also you're a good guy. You're a really good military guy, not just the regular grunt. So the other thing I loved about the shooting of your action scenes, is that not only did you show action, but you also showed my favorite, reaction. In other words, there's a moment, even in the first fight, where somebody gets to you. You're taking care of the guy in front of you, and somebody does something to the back of you, and you don't instantly react. You turn. And I can see that you're reacting and getting ready and deciding what to do and then doing it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So again, you have action equals reaction equals action equals reaction. And that seemed to be a conscious decision on your part.
Yeah, because I wanted to give the sense of danger to the audience. I wanted people to understand what is to be in there,
Mm-hmm.
not just automatically react and do things. It's like, oh, like what I do now. I go left or right. Oh, okay, make the decision. Boom. Here is, that sense of realism I wanted to be in the character in the movie, and that he's at the same time vulnerable, to try to deal with this thing, and things can go wrong.
Right. That's, again, very important to me. I don't like flat fighting. I like it when you make something involving, and you've done that in this on several different layers, both an emotional layer, your character's layer, but also in the action. And the other thing that I was thrilled about was that you didn't take it all for yourself. You gave some to your compadres, to the other people, to the female fighter.
Yeah. Shout out to Brooke, man.
Yeah,
She was
Yeah,
awesome.
Brooke, she did an amazing job. Amazing. I
everybody.
also,
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay.
Lewis did an
Yeah.
amazing fight with the knives. It was amazing. He moves incredible. And of course, for me, it's a movie. Like, I'm just one little piece of the movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to create. For me, the relationship between these characters was very important, and I wanted to create that family feeling because of the past of what happened. These guys end up in Thailand living about dealing with this past, right? But and you know what? This was a big challenge because how you create that only from Bruno's perspective. And this was the big challenge of the movie because it's not like I can just jump and suddenly show Joe working by himself or then jump and show the bad guy because this was a first person movie, right? So then you got to be very creative to show the world without leaving Bruno, to
Hmm.
don't lose that sense of the audience is with him, is discovering with him, is getting surprised with him, and is suffering with him all the time, the full movie. It was very, very challenging, right?
Yep.
So for me, I needed to take the time in the movie to create that bond and to create that relationship between the three characters, before things get crazy and messy, and then the love story arrives, and then I wanted to create that connection between these three characters. Even was a very challenging thing to do, you know.
And it
Yeah.
worked perfectly because all the major characters have a different personality. You have yours, which is very clear. You're the rock, you're the iron, you're the anchor, but at the same time you also clearly PTSD. And Louis, he's more emotional. And so when his action is more, watch his face as he fights, watch his face as what happens to him happens. Same thing with the female fighter. And you even give some of that to the damsel in distress, who thankfully is not always in distress.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, as you know, the punchline of the whole movie is that, she is not just a dream. She is not just a test tube baby. She is her own person. And that's
Yeah, yeah.
purposely done on your part too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the movie. Like the movie, she has a choice, and she made a choice. That's such an important thing that we're dealing in this movie, and that's for each character. You see, I wanted to show the human part of each character, and that's
And you did.
yeah,
But now the big finale fight.
Oh man,
How did you put that together, and how did
so
you
good.
anchor the whole movie with that?
yeah. Well, that was I was lucky to have Brahim, to be honest, because he's
We
an
were
amazing
all
martial
lucky.
artist. And to be honest, it's like that would not be possible without a high level skilled martial artist and a high level skilled steady cam operator. Because if you realize that fight is only long shots, and all the shots were 360 like going around us, so we needed to nail every movement of that exactly to the spot to land, to where the camera is moving and we're moving all the time. Don't cut, and we need to make it. It was tough. It was a big challenge, to be honest. But I'm really happy how it looked because it's just different. It's real. The MMA element, and the missing, and things don't work, and it gives that
Yeah.
sense of realism.
And also,
Yeah.
you brings in the affinity to that, because a big thing about me is I don't like the hero winning at the end simply because the script tells him to. I like to see that he has learned something and has changed, so he's able to deal with what he's got. And of course,
Yeah.
it ties in with the movie, because if you didn't feel something for this girl, this test tube, you would not have been able to overcome him. But you do in the last minute because of the emotional, as what does Bruce Lee say? Emotional content.
Content.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True.
So I'm guessing that was purposeful on your part as well.
Yeah, for me, it was at the beginning. He was definitely, like he was able to put me down, and to dominate my fight, and I needed to, adapt, and I needed to change
Yeah.
my strategy and to make him fail, to find those places and open. At the beginning, I was fighting very emotional, but then I needed to cut down that emotion to be able to focus on the fight. When I arrived, I was with all this emotion. I get my ass kicked, right? But then it's like
Focus.
it's a
Yeah.
focus, it's a change, it's a.
Yeah.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy and pleased with that satisfying in finale fight because I'm not going to mention any other titles. I'm going to be nice, but there's a lot of other martial arts action movies out there that they have great action throughout the whole movie, but they always kind of puss out with the end finale fight, and there's no big satisfying end finale one-on-one duel
Moment.
fight at
Yeah.
the end. And it's just you're enjoying the whole movie, but at the end you kind of get a little bit of, I'm gonna be honest here, a little bit of martial arts blue
Let
balls.
me
Okay,
let me explain
but
something.
not with
Let me
affinity. Not
say
with affinity.
explain something to my friend here. The reason for that, Preston, Samurai, is because of the producer. But look who the producer of this one was. So he's not going to let that happen.
Well, yeah, that's
That's
very
right.
big. That's a big that's true. Like a big thing that you just said there. Because sometimes producers they don't think on these little things, and they just want to make things done. They want to accomplish the budget or whatever. But having the opportunity to be involved, then I was able to decide on the shooting schedule. We need this much days for the final scene. Don't cut me days from this final scene. Then you
Yeah,
can cut day. We can cut days from other scenes. We can figure it out. We can solve the because when you're working on this type of movies, it's like you're always trying to figure out, how you fit in this whole story in the tight schedule, right? So you're editing while you're doing the movie to be able to adapt to a problem. Like, oh, we lost this location. We're gonna have to shoot in this out. You're like, oh my god. Okay, well, this is the objective of the scene. This is where we're going. This is where we're coming from. Okay, blah blah blah. This worked. It doesn't work. Or maybe we can solve this scene in a half day instead of a full day because we only need this to accomplish, right? And then we don't lose days on the big finale fight or in another important scene. And those decisions are very important.
yeah,
Um, and in this one, we have a long shot shoot for this finale scene that starts with the ninja. When I arrive, when I cross the field of flowers, and I arrive to this house, and the ninjas start popping up and
yeah.
using these different weapons and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Really happy.
So am I. I mean, your team is terrific. I mean, the cinematography is great. The special effects are great. The action choreography is great. The acting is great. It was really involving. I'm really looking forward. I've already watched it 1.5 times, so I'm watching it some more. You can guess the halftime. I watched the whole movie, then I watched all the fight scenes, and now I'm going to go back to the whole thing. How each one, and it gets better each time. So listen,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I was lucky to be able to work with a great team. The stunt team in Thailand, they were amazing. They were very good, and it was very tight. I remember it was very demanding. And I was really trained, and it was high intensity, like high level intensity performance, like non-stop hours and hours fighting, and then there was a lot of heat, so drinking a lot of like water, and you gotta make sure you don't get dehydrated. It was very a tough one. But I'm very happy. And then of course my Chilean team of post production, Post Tone Works, they did all the VFX, and then the sound. Rocco did amazing music, and Ernesto was involved in all that. He was my post producer supervisor, and well, he edited
Nice.
the
An
movie,
editor,
and
yeah,
then,
editor,
and then
yeah.
yeah, and then he proposed. He was the one that did all the finalizing of the sound and on the music. I do the sound design in terms of creating the follies and all that, but then I give it to my team. The sound mixer Aural, they did an amazing job. Like you guys saw the movie in a theater, right? So you
I did.
He did.
feel
I
the movie in a theater.
Oh my! Everybody at Big Bad Film Fest, me in the theater, we were cheering, clapping. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll tell you afterwards, Marco. But you did a move in the end finale fight where I literally screamed out of my chair, and the director, shout out to director Brandon Slagle. Brandon afterwards, he was like, "I knew that was you in the back, man." He's like, "I knew that was you back there." but yeah, it was phenomenal on the big screen, man. Phenomenal.
Yeah. I very happy because in this level, this budget movie, it's very, to accomplish that level of VFX and music. Like we have a real orchestra for this movie. Thanks to Los Lobos Records in Chile, this amazing studio. They have amazing musicians, and they grab the movie, and they we have like a big studio movie, like a full orchestra going like bam bam. So that elevates the movie.
Hey, listen,
The soundtrack's
I'm telling
phenomenal.
you, from my 60 years of watching movies, that no matter how good your special effects are, no matter how good the technical is, if we don't care about the characters, it doesn't matter. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I cared about these characters big time.
Yeah.
And they all worked together. Not one thing was really good. The other thing is not as good. Everything here is on a nice level. And again, you could see everybody was putting their passion and their compassion into the movie. And I was very pleased. Yay! Yay, you!
So good.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow,
And Brandon,
I'm very excited. Very excited, very excited about it, and thanks for the support, man. When you get into when you make a movie and you get so into it, and then you lose. Like I wish I could have, like erase my memory or everything and just watch the movie as a regular audience, because it's impossible. You don't know what people react for. You don't know how it feels when you see for the first time that what happened with the girl, or what happening when I'm getting into what I'm saying is that you don't understand. Like for me, there's moments that I wanted to make that heartbeat going strong. It's like when I arrive to the lab and then I see you're not gonna believe what I'm seeing right now, and then the music starts, and then Rocco did this amazing scoring, and then you have this flying drone going in through the flowers, and then it lands into that flower. But I never gonna know what it really feels, because you know what I'm saying.
But what I'm going to suggest is the next time you go to see one of your movies in a theater, don't watch the movie, watch the audience.
Yeah.
Sit in
Yeah.
the front of the place and watch the audience react.
Yeah,
And you'll
yeah.
feel the
I
waves
haven't
of
had the
emotion.
chance with Affinity. I haven't, because we saw it here in a theater, private screening, but only with friends, and but not in a real audience, like
Right.
full crowd, real audience, So I haven't. Hopefully, we're gonna do theatrical release here in Chile. So we're
Nice.
working on that. So I'm gonna be able to have that experience.
Well, that's awesome.
Amazing.
Well, listen, we're out of time. We could go on, but
Yeah.
just at the end, tell us what more to expect from you, what to look forward to from you now.
Well, this movie is releasing on September 30th.
Yes.
And there is a movie that I'm releasing in Chile, a theatrical release in October 2nd. And we're starting sales, international sales. It's Dancing in the Ring. It's a real life story about a Chilean boxer that fought the world title against Joe Louis So it's like a first opportunity I have the chance to play a role, like a boxing movie first, and second, it's a romance. It's like a love story. So it's a beautiful challenge. It was a
Nice.
nice challenge. I'm very happy with the movie. So hopefully we can find a U.S. home soon, and then you guys can watch it.
We'll see it one way or the
Oh,
other.
yeah.
But in the meantime, hope the showing in Chile works great. And thank you so much, as always. Looking forward to this and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Marco.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Affinity, September 30th, baby. That's right. Don't miss it.